Howdy YouTube, this is Adriel, the hunting gear guy, and I've got a new in-box, old stock, Norinco NS522 here. I wanted to do the unboxing a little bit earlier on than I usually do my videos, so I'm just using natural light now. Later on I'll set up the lights and all that kind of stuff for the full review. I wanted to crack it open and basically start cleaning it because, like a lot of Chinese firearms, it's a nice way to put it would be well preserved. It's really coated in oil. Within that bag it's all kind of yellowish, and that's due to the preservative oil that they smother these things in. I mean, the advantage is that, I mean, these rifles, I think they were made in the 90s, and they're still really good. The disadvantage being, you know, you got to wear gloves, otherwise you're going to get oil all over the place. So I'm just going to bring you a little bit closer here. Let's see if I can get a little bit more squared away. So there's the rifle. I'm just going to kind of put that off to the side here. Canada Ammo sends these cool gun pen kind of things here. And it looks like we've got a whole pile of targets. That's also kind of cool. There's our bolt. And there's our second magazine. Sorry, my floor's a little bit squeaky in this one spot. And this is a good example of, let me see how close I can get to that. There we go. You can see that oil just kind of sitting in there. So this is going to be pretty greasy as we take it out. But greasy is better as it's well preserved, and you know it's going to work, right? This is just one of those little mags that it comes with, little 5-shot mags. Kind of check that off to the side. Zoom this back out. Trying to get too much oil all over my camera here. Here's the bolt, also very well oiled. And as you can see, it's covered as well. But no rust, so you know, not that bad, I guess. Finally, let's get this rifle out here. Looks like it's coming out the back. Oh, that looks not that bad. You know, I had picked up stuff to refinish this, but you know, unless it really looks ugly once I take this oil off, I'm not too worried about this. There's this big cutout here. That's because these are supposed, I believe they're the wrong stock for this particular rifle. Just get it. Sorry, my camera's probably having trouble trying to get into there, but you can see once we get this bolt in here. Let's see. Let's see how stupid I am. Come on. Maybe this hasn't been rotated. Needs to be cocked to go in. Ah, there we go. So just have to be cocked to go in there, and well, it's nice and stiff. That's good. But you can see here that cutout is quite pronounced, and it's not even really close to where it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna clean my hands up and clean this rifle up, and I'll do the rest of the review once it's a little bit, well, once I've got a little bit of oil off of it. We're back again. Now I've got all my lights set up, and we're kind of sitting in my den looking at this rifle after I think I spent about an hour cleaning it, and it's still got oil in the various nooks and crannies. But this is the Norinco 522, NS522. My model, I think it's serial number 7. It's got some 8s and 0s in front of it, but I think this is serial number 7. So whatever that means, maybe it's an earlier model. This does have the NS logo on it, and it appears that this is a KFS from Atlanta imported. So this was one of those original batch that were meant for the US, but happened upon us here in Canada. So yeah, I can't complain too much about that. Now I did get, like I mentioned in the unboxing, I got a pile of stuff to refinish this wood on the expectation that it was going to be really crappy, but I don't mind it. I don't mind this finish at all. And you know what? If I were to do it, it might end up worse. So I'm going to keep it as is, at least until I really mess it up, and you know, bedding it or redoing the stock or whatever. But so far, I'm really liking the wood. The action on mine, I'm just going to zoom it out just a touch here. The action on mine is pretty stiff, but hey, you want that in a match rifle, right? I mean, I can work this in. I can. The whole idea with this is for it to be a project rifle, so something that you can kind of work on and tune and work over. And for the price, hey, you cannot complain for the price. This thing's $250, and the nearest you're going to get is a CZ 455 or 452, and those are quite a bit more expensive. I don't know if this shows up in the video. There's this gap here, and when I saw it on the forums, it didn't look that bad, but then when I saw it in person, it's like, holy crap, this is a pretty awful gap. It's not even like close to it. This could be full of wood, and you know, it still wouldn't be hitting there. So take that for what it's worth. There's a huge gap there. Some of the people I saw a really nice aluminum channel put in there by Father on CGN. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with it yet, but maybe nothing, because I'm primarily just looking for a really accurate 22, something that I can use to snipe gophers and squirrels from a good distance and make some of the really amazing shots with. So that's my intent with this rifle. Just pull this back here. So just some of the features, so I can rip through a couple of them really quick. One, this barrel is cool. Let me see if I can get her in really close there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got kind of a spiral going this way across the barrel. Let me see how close I can get it. Ah, there it's showing up, yeah. You can kind of see it as I turn it. And let's see how close of a close-up I can get with this bad boy. Come on, there it goes. The target crown on this thing is awesome. It's got a nice recess in there, and you can see that the crown has been polished just a touch. So very pleased with the barrel on this thing. Surprised with the stock. Let me just hit her back here. Some of the things that have been mentioned on the forums, it's got a ventilated recoil pad that's like recycled tire material or something. Kind of stinks. I'm not going to do anything about it because I'm lazy and because it's not going to affect the functionality of this rifle. And I'm not buying this thing for looks. I am buying this thing for functionality. I want a really accurate 22. I don't know. I've been on this 22 kick recently, so I'm going to keep with it. Just going to the other side of the rifle, that's where a little bit more of our action's going on. That's where we've got our safety here. That would be actuated if your right hand, sorry it looks kind of awkward here, but my right hand would be able to just kind of use that with your thumb. And as well we have this bolt release right here, so if you were to tip the bolt back and start pulling it out, again I told you it was stiff, and push in on that bolt release, the bolt will just kind of come right out. Just going to throw the rifle to the side here so I can focus on the bolt. The bolt is kind of cool as well. It's got a really quick breakdown without any tools. You can kind of see the face there. Nothing really special about that. Mine's already starting to get wear here from just from rotating it in the rifle, so that's good. I mean, it's a nice tight fit. I would hate for myself to get one of these and have a real sloppy fit and have nothing to do about it. It breaks down with this little knobby thing back here, so if you kind of pull it back and twist, it just kind of comes apart. Kind of cool, right? Now I can start pulling off some of these different pieces. There goes your firing pin, there goes your bolt. Comes apart really, really quick, and I think that's kind of cool. Put it back together here. And I mean, I'm not a super machinist or anything like that, but I could pretty much figure out how to take this thing apart and put it back together again. Let's see, those had to match up, and then I push in, turn, and turn it. So, sorry, let me just get that back to the camera. I wasn't paying attention there for a second. There's these two dots here. You need those lined up. You need it in the decocked position. At least it's easier to. There's cocked, there's decocked. You can tell because this detent thing here is just a little bit higher in the channel. So when it's lower in the channel, there's less pressure on it, which you want because then it's easier. Get your detents together. Pull that thing towards the back, and then just kind of rotate it in there. And that's all there is to it. Pretty cool little bolt. And then before you put it in, you'll have to cock it, and you can do that just by rotating this bolt. There we go. And now we can see that detent there is just a little bit higher up, so it's got more potential energy. It's ready to hit that firing pin. So kind of cool. If you're interested in knowing what kind of action is holding this bolt together, let me get that back into picture. It's got these lugs on the side here, and I believe, let me just see if I can get it more pronounced. There we go. Yeah, you can kind of see those two lugs there, and then I believe there's a lug on the handle side as well. So you've kind of got two dual lugs opposing on the rear of the bolt here. And to put that back in, again, this is a little bit of a tight fit because you want it to be a tight fit. There's a couple of mods here that I'm probably going to do to it, whether to the bolt or to the body here, just to make it a little bit more polished, a little bit easier to use. But essentially, take your bolt face and level it. Again, this is for new people to this thing, not necessarily people who've used it a lot. What do we got going there? Oh, it's not level. Okay. Get in there nice and level. Ah, there it goes. And now we're going to go in there. And when I say level, I say like this round part's got to be to the top, flat top to the bottom, and it'll actually lock in there. And it is quite stiff, but I'm already starting to see wear marks on these guides here, so I'm probably gonna take it to the range real quick, shoot a couple rounds through it, start to see where some of those wear marks are, and then work towards polishing them a little bit more, making this action a little bit smoother, just so it's a little bit easier to use out in the field. It's not so kind of jaggy with using it. The mags that come with these things are these tiny little 5-rounders. They're kind of cool. They're also kind of crappy, and I want to show you that in just a minute here. Crappy in that they don't really look like they're built for a lot of abuse. They're metal, and that's really good. But let me take one of these apart and show you. I've got just this tiny little button in there. I'm just using an Allen key to push it in. And then we've got this tiny little cute little spring. And then this plastic body, well, not plastic follower that's kind of, I don't know, kind of leaves a lukewarm taste in my mouth. It looks like it's been worked over with a file. I might polish it a little bit just so it moves a little bit better in the body. It doesn't move terrifically right now. You can kind of see that button detent there that we were just looking at. They're just kind of sitting on the end of that spring. There's our end plate. So, you know, it's a mag. You're not going to find a lot of these out there, so keep the ones you got. Let me just see if I can remember how to put this back together. Nope, no. We want ramping up. And then button to the front. And again, I'm kind of doing this video just in case any of you guys who buy these things, because this mag can be put together incorrectly. So you can put in the spring the wrong way. The button, at least when I got them from the factory, the button was at the front. So there's the button. And then there's the front of the mag, so where the bullets go. Now let's back up here. Oh, I'm getting long here, 12 minutes, hey? In terms of like fit into the rifle, go down here a little bit. Not bad, you know, it kind of just fits in there. There's a mag release button here at the front that you just kind of push and they spring out. Not bad. I wish they had gone with a magazine that was already used out there. That would have been awesome, but they didn't. I've just got some, these are blue dummy rounds here. And you can see the extraction is positive, but I'm giving it a nice positive swift pull to the rear. I'm not being real nice about it and just slowly and gingerly pulling it forward, because that's a good way to jam a 22. And you know, decent reliability. I did have to clean these mags out when I first got them. They were, the insides of them were coated in oil, like everything on this rifle, and that actually bound the springs on both of these. So those tiny little springs in here will bind if they've got a lot of junk in them. So if you're finding a lot of stoppages, take a look at your mags, see if those followers are binding up in there. The next thing I wanted to show is taking apart the rifle. I'm just going to pause it real quick though, so I have a little break. Alright, a little refreshment. Now I'm ready to go here. So, to take the action off the stock, we're going to pull these two Allen bolts off the bottom. Mine were really loose, just from the factory. I've already cleaned the inside of these just to get some of that oil off. And you're going to see what's going on inside of here. I don't know if you heard that crack. This barrel's not free floated. So that's one of the things I'm going to get to is definitely free floating that channel so that the barrel's not contacting the wood here. Feast your eyes on that. And I can hear you sitting there and if you don't have one of these, you're thinking, are those washers? And yeah, these are washers. These are just hardware store washers in here. And the reason why is this stock isn't built for this rifle necessarily. This is an EM 322 I think stock, and this is an NS522. So you need that height to get it so that it. Let me grab a mag here. You don't have mags down in the stock. You need your mag so that you can at least grab it. But at the same time, boy, we've got a. Like this is not fantastic for accuracy. Now, keep in mind I haven't had this thing out, so maybe it is fantastic for accuracy. But from what I've seen on CGN and just what some of the users have been doing out there, epoxy bedding this channel and pillaring this action has been excellent for accuracy. So that's likely what I'll be doing. Is I've already got a couple of things here for for pillaring this action. So I'm just going to go grab those. Just because there's kind of two options out there, and if you don't know exactly where to look in the forum, it might be hard pressed to find them. There's the two options right there. Let me just pull this rifle out of the way so it's not focusing on it. This is, and I mean, you can find these both at Home Depot or whatever. This is just some random lamp nipples. Those you can, the advantage of running these is that you can put a cross in the, notch these things and use like a big flat-headed screwdriver to screw them into the action. So you can still use epoxy for it, but that'll give you something that'll give some positive hold onto the wood as these screws here. This one I bought because it might be a better fit and some of the guys were using it. This is an A721 watts red brass pipe nipple. That's your one option. And there's those lamp nipples as your other option. So the whole idea with that, I'm just going to pull the action right off the wood here. The whole idea of that is that this is wood that you're compressing, and that might compress, it might hold a little bit differently than if you were to put those steel columns in and then have that bear straight against both the barreled action and against the bottom of the, sorry, I can skip that back there, the bottom of the trigger group. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. I will be epoxying this area here to get rid of those washers. The idea is you have the pillar come up a little bit higher than normal, and then you epoxy everything else to give yourself a nice smooth mating surface for this lovely pure metal trigger guard. This is another thing that I was really pleased with when I found this, when I looked this thing over, was this is a cool little trigger guard. Most of the rifles that I'm looking at today, especially the bargain stuff, they're all polymer, or if they are metal, they're kind of like a dinky little piece of metal. But this is some serious beefy metal here, so it's kind of cool. Let's see, on to, well, I mean, this, let me see if I can just refocus the camera here to right over there. The trigger group, get out of there, bolt. This trigger group comes off, and it's one screw here in the bottom, one screw here from the inside, and it can be polished. I'm going to be doing that, and you can get different springs for it to adjust the weight of pull, and I'm going to be doing that. The trigger itself, you know, isn't all that bad. I don't mind this trigger. Let's just give it a pull. A tiny little bit of imperceptible creep. I've got some over travel here. There's a modification for that too. One of the advantages when you get like a cheap project rifle like this into Canada is that, you know, this thing was available in the 90s in the States, but in the 90s the whole idea of getting together on a web forum and sharing lots of pictures and lots of really cool media wasn't really around. Now that thing is around with CGN and all the other forums out there, so you can share all these really cool mods on a project rifle like this. Because the advantage of this thing is it's supposed to be supremely accurate. Half-inch groups at 50 yards kind of a thing. Now you might get that out of the box, or you might need to do a couple of mods. Me, I'm going to do the mods. I'm just going to throw this thing back together. Zoom you out so you can watch me struggle with this thing. See how many times I curse. Well, that's feeling just about right. I'll try not to curse. I'm sure YouTube wouldn't like it. Yeah, and this is one of those areas where it's like, yeah, I can tell you guys use something a little bit different here. Look at this in this trigger channel here. Not fantastic, right? But hey, for 250 bucks, I'll bet it and pillar it, and I will not complain. Not for 250 bucks. No way. those washers in place. I don't know why I'm putting these. I'm probably going to drill them out and put pillars in right afterwards. But just for sake of the video, there's my virtual pillars. The action screws are the same length. There's no need to remember which one's front, which one's back. They're the same. You know, one of the things I noticed last time I put this together was that it was kind of twisted in there. Let's see if I can get it straight this time. You shouldn't be able to twist this in the stock by installing it, but this is so loose in there that it's entirely possible to install it and not have it straight. Oh, see, now it's not already, whatever. And can you hear that cracking? That's coming from the front of the stock here. I'm going to back it off and just do it slowly so you can hear it. But of course now it doesn't do it. Isn't that just how it works? Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna pillar bed that because I don't want to be pressuring this stock and then have it get humid and lose accuracy or lose my zero or whatever. But I think this video is definitely long enough. I'm going to be doing some mods to this thing. I don't know if I'm going to video them or if I'm just going to put them up on my website. So at the very least, if you're really interested in this website, if you're really interested in this rifle, take a look at my website. I'm going to be chronicling kind of all my mods as I go along, as I mod, whether it's the bolt or the trigger or opening up this barrel channel. I'm going to try to keep it nice and visual. Do lots of nice high-res pictures on it. So if you're interested in this rifle, or if you bought one, or if you're just interested in buying one, just take a look at my website and kind of follow along, because I'm going to try to keep it nice and follow along with my progress on this thing. Oh yeah, one other thing. There is a caulking indicator on the back here. If you see this thing a little bit longer out, that means it's kind of caulked out and ready to go. So that's the Norinco NS522. I've got a whole pile of 22 ammo I'm going to try on this thing, so I'll let you know what works best. Thanks.